Hey, John Howell with ToyotaJohn.com coming at you one more time. If you've been paying any attention to car news, there's a lot of hubbub, and I've seen all kinds of videos talking about kill switches. Is there a law about kill switches particularly or specifically? No, there is not. You look at something that Kelly Blue Book just put out in a blog post talking about basically it's much ado about nothing because there's no such law. But there kind of is. It goes back to 2021 with the infrastructure bill. And basically, it's all about drunk driving and preventing drunk driving, which is kind of a noble thing. Who wants drunk drivers on the road? The law was passed with the infrastructure bill, and they left it to the National Highway Transportation and Safety Administration to kind of put everything together and come up with the rules. You know, and I was telling people a while back that the law was already in place. I probably started talking about it a little bit in 2022. I wasn't doing a whole lot on socials at the time. You know, but they were talking about, you know, having basically an alcohol ignition interlock system in every car. But what they're actually talking about doing is putting in technology that will stop your car if the car deems that you're impaired. Now, the kill switch that they're talking about is the government being able to shut down your car. And that's not in the law. But in my 57 years of experience, every little thing like this, it's step by step by step by step. And then it gets to where the government can control it. Now, it's not there, and the National Transportation and Safety Administration has not put together any rules. And a lot of this technology is already in your cars. GM has it with their hands-free cruise. Toyota has it. You've got cameras that look at your eyes. What they're talking about doing, and I've got a Camry XLE that I'm about to hop into. It's a little bit of a tight fit, so bear with me. Ooh, that was a real close-up of my face. All right, so now that I am in the car and I have it running, I'm going to show you where that camera is. So this right here is the camera. You see the lights on? The lights are looking to see if I am actually paying attention, and you'll notice that when I am, well, maybe the lights are always on. I don't see the lights, but I see them on the camera. So the system is checking to see if I am paying attention, and you've got two different, and I guess if I block them, maybe not. Yeah, but this is what they're talking about, watching your eyes. What Congress is now talking about is, with the kill switch, is the National Highway Transportation and Safety Administration is coming up with the rules. I've heard, and it was passed that it had to be a passive system. They initially wanted an active system where every car had an alcohol ignition interlock, so that all of us had to do a breathalyzer before we got into our cars, because it wasn't fair to those with 2, 3, 4, 82 DUIs to have to pay $6,000 to add this to their car so they could drive. So we were going to spread that cost amongst everybody, and it was going to push the price of a car up $2,000 to $3,000. A rough estimate on my part, because if you're talking about $6,000, doing it on a mass scale would probably bring it down about half. Maybe it only pushes the car price up about $500. Y'all want to spend $500 more on a car? No, you don't. Trust me, I sell them. I sell Toyotas, ToyotaJohn. I sell Toyotas, and you guys don't want to spend $100. You guys will go 300 miles out of your way to get a car for $100 less somewhere else. I get it. I understand it. We want the best deal. All good. A lot of things that people complain about with the technologies that push the price of the cars up are all things that are government mandated. Well, now we're looking at new mandates, and we're not sure exactly what is going to happen. So what a lot of this has to do with is that system that's already there, so that if you're using our traffic jam assist, which is under 19 miles an hour, you can be hands-free, and the car will slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up, in stop and go traffic under 19 miles an hour. You can take your hands off the wheel and basically be an adaptive cruise for that entire time. As long as you're paying attention to the road, you start reading a book, you start taking a nap, it turns itself off. But what they're afraid of is that you get into that swirling windstorm, and it pushes you to one side and it pushes you to the other, and you're going across the lines, or you're tired and you're there, but maybe you're not paying enough attention to the car. But the car is going to make the decision on whether or not it continues to drive, and it's going to turn itself off. There were examples given of a lady with her kids driving in a winter storm, missing that ice patch, avoiding that tree branch, missing that pothole, and crossing over lines a few times, that it will turn the car off and leave them stranded there. My questions are this, because if it decides you're on the highway and you've got junk that's falling off a truck and you're going around it, and maybe you're speeding up and slowing down and speeding up and slowing down to avoid this stuff, and the car thinks that you're impaired, and it decides to turn your car off, and you're on the highway, does it turn your hazard lights on? I don't think so. Does it move you out of a lane of traffic? I don't think so. But how many of us want the car to be able to determine whether we can or can't do something? There are enough people out there that I sell cars to that don't want the modern technology with the lane keep, the lane trace, the lane departure, the adaptive cruise. They don't like all that stuff. They like their driving. They want to make that decision. But when the car becomes the judge of whether you are competent to drive or not, that's when we have a problem. So, the kill switch legislation is a preemptive step to keep any of these rules coming out. Now, the National Highway Transportation and Safety Administration was supposed to have come out with their rules 2 years ago. They were supposed to have things set up to where it began the rules process, and they haven't done it. Does that mean that because they haven't, that it's not there? No, the law's already passed. The law's already passed. The NTHSA can pass or create a rule saying that every car sold from 26 and beyond, because that's when the cars are supposed to be, 2026, we're already there. So say 2027 and beyond, have to have an alcohol ignition interlock. The law's already there. All they've got to do is make the rule. And then you've got to blow into a breathalyzer every time you want to start your car. Is that what's going to happen? I don't know. Hopefully not. I doubt that it will. But they have the power and they have the authorization to do so already. They have the ability. Now, this is not for the government to do it. This is for the car to do it internally. Every time you take that step, power is always taken by the government. It's never given back. So the next steps to that would be the police being able to turn off your car. I mean, there are instances where I've heard Ford's got a patent on technology that if you don't make your car payments to Ford Motor Credit, they can shut down your car. How true that is, I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but I have heard rumor that the patent is there. Are they using it? I don't know. I don't sell Fords. But I've heard that that is there. I've heard that that is available to Ford. Is that a good thing? Well, if you're Ford Motor Credit and people aren't paying, well, yeah, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that gets more people to pay their car bill, their car payment every month. I don't know. I personally don't think it's a good idea. I personally don't subscribe to anybody being able to do that, but the technology is there. For the car to make the decision, I don't like it. People say, well, the government should be able to because of high-speed chases. Okay. Great, they have ways of stopping cars with high-speed chases. Is there any need to give the government more power? Yeah, and you could say this is a conspiracy theory and I'm going down a rabbit hole. Maybe. But I'm of the opinion that I would rather have the control myself than give the local government, the state government, or the federal government any power or control over my life. So, in short, are they actually looking for the government to kill your car? No. Is the technology there? Yep, it is. Are they going to put a breathalyzer in your car that you have to blow into before you can start your car? Not at this time, but when the law was first passed in 21, like I said, that's what they were talking about doing to prevent drunk driving. Well, pre-crime is it's an attack on liberty. It's an attack on my personal liberties, and I'm not a fan. Maybe I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. I got a flat top, not a tinfoil hat. But like I said, is it actually here now? No. Is the kill switch law, something that's necessary? I don't know. I think it's a good preemptive step so the government can't step in and do it. But that's that. Hey, do all the things. Like, share, subscribe. Put this out to as many people as you can. Call your representatives. It's not a matter of stopping a law. The law is already there. It's an agency full of bureaucrats that have to come up with some rules that will figure out whether we can or can't do things. And I'm not a fan of that. They're not elected. Even if it's somebody who I didn't vote for that makes a rule, okay, they're elected. They got the majority of the vote from their district. God bless. I don't have to like it. I don't have to agree with it. If it's a law, it's a law. But for unaccountable bureaucrats to be making rules and laws, not a fan, because there is no recourse. There is no recourse. But like I said, do all the things. You got any questions, give me a call, 734-846-0007. Stop in at ToyotaJohn.com. The blog section is going to be coming fairly soon. And I've got some other cool things. I got some possible t-shirts that may be coming out as well. I'll talk to y'all later.